what is the main thing that keeps you motivated?
I think for me, I've got to enjoy something, and I've got to have a sense of accomplishment. I think I've battled this recently, and this is probably an example of how I've overcome motivation setback. In that I kind of lost my vibe for the gym a little bit, because I was forever doing the same routine, chasing the same weights, being in a calorie deficit, and feeling like I wasn't really getting anywhere. I think going back to when I started CrossFit, the reason that I got so much enjoyment out of that was the challenge and the enjoyment aspect of it. So there's a lot of skill work in CrossFit. It's all about technique. So within sessions, it wasn't always about chasing the next weight up. It was about learning the technique and the skill to be able to do a kipping pull-up or a butterfly pull-up or something like that. So this week, to overcome that motivation setback, I've just gone into the gym with a plan of, well, probably not even much of a plan, to be honest, just thinking I'm actually going to do something that I fancy, something that I fancy doing. And to me, that's what helped me get back in the gym when I was feeling kind of quite opposed to it. So I think sense of accomplishment, so always aiming for progressive overload, a PB, aesthetic changes, but most of all is just finding something that you enjoy. And I think for anyone who's starting out in the fitness journey, I think that's the thing, people need to go back to something they enjoy. I had a conversation with a coaching client once, and she said, I want to raise something to some money for charity, and I'm going to do a 5k run. And then in the next sentence she said, I hate running. And I said, why have you set yourself a challenge of doing a 5k run? You hate running. Like, this is setting you up to fail. And at the end of that coaching session, we got to a different place where it might have been like, you know, they do like the moonlight walks where they trek in the dark and that sort of thing. And she was like, oh yeah, actually, you know, I'd probably enjoy that because I could have a conversation with my mate while I was doing it and listen to some music and do something that I enjoy. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. So I think sometimes people set themselves goals for the wrong reasons, and it's not always based on what their preferences are. And I think that's a perfect example of setting yourself up to fail.
Yeah. And touching on, obviously, enjoying what you're doing, getting some sense of achievement and fulfillment out of that, I think it's important to touch on that because we're asking each other what keeps us motivated, but we're not always motivated.
Yeah.
We can't wake up every single day.
Oh, God, no.
Motivated to go and put an hour or so of hard graft in the gym that's going to be painful and ultimately difficult. But we're disciplined to keep on going. And I think something I do when I'm really struggling with the motivation is I think, right, I'm just going to pick like 5 or 6 exercises that I really enjoy doing. And I'm just going to go in there saying no expectations and give whatever my 100% that day looks like on those exercises I really enjoy. When that motivation comes back full force, then I pick up doing the exercises that I don't enjoy doing so much.
Yeah.
That I know I need to do, and I recognise they're important, I've got to do them. They're just not my favourites.
Yeah. I think you've hit the nail on the head there as well, because if you always do the same things, you always compare yourself to your last performance. And I think mentally, when you haven't got that motivation, it's actually quite demoralising.
Yeah.